The problem Bill Simmons has in defending Bill Belichick is that he takes it so personally. And because he takes it so personally, it causes him to make mistakes. And we see this in his latest podcast. So, first, before we talk about what Bill said, let's look at the details behind the podcast. Now, what I couldn't help but note was that yesterday, October 9th, we have the stinging critique published by Nora Princiati on The Ringer. And the title here is Bill Belichick's Messy College Experiment Feels All But Over. Underneath it reads, Nepotism, pettiness, and dysfunction are nothing new for a Belichick regime, but without the winning, his tenure at UNC could be embarrassingly short lived. I was surprised to see this on The Ringer, and it's front page material. All we have to do is scroll down a little bit, and we see this large block dedicated to the article. So I wondered what would Bill Simmons' reaction be, and we get this in his latest podcast. So one other note about the podcast, though, I see the notification show up on my phone that Bill Simmons is talking about Bill Belichick's legacy. So I want to watch this on YouTube. So I go to the Bill Simmons YouTube channel, and here we have the podcast episode, but it doesn't include the Bill Belichick rant. Now, this could easily be for an editing reason. Maybe he wanted to add this in after the fact. Maybe he came across some coverage he didn't like and he decided to add it on to the audio podcast. But I did note that, okay, well, I can't watch it on YouTube, so I had to listen to it on Apple Podcast. But we do see a short published. So the short is about, I think it's about 2 minutes long. It was published an hour ago. So he goes over this a little bit, but I'm surprised that there's not a separate video because he spent 8 minutes, approximately 8 minutes, maybe it was like 6 minutes on this segment. But here we only have the short, so it doesn't capture everything he said. But I do have the podcast pulled up, so we're going to go ahead and listen to a few parts. One note is that it's difficult to scroll on this Apple podcast, so it's going to take me a second. But let's play this first clip.
At the Patriots and all the stuff he did in the NFL. It doesn't really matter. And what is annoying to me about all of this, we always talk about legacy in sports. Now, I'm not saying I'm innocent. I've certainly brought it up a few times.
A few times. This is one of the mistakes because now Bill Simmons is criticizing people for talking about his legacy when this is something that Bill Simmons does all the time. But let's go to another spot here. Let's go to 5 minutes, 38 seconds in if I can get to it. Yeah, that's really close.
Couple years. They needed each other. And to say one deserved more credit than the other is just typical of sports media talk bullshit that we do. They both won all those titles together. I don't feel like either of them was that much more important than the other.
All right, so Bill Simmons is putting Tom Brady and Bill Belichick on the same footing. This is just an add-in from me that it's a player and a coach. The player is going to be much more responsible. The coach is going to optimize the team he has, right? So the coach certainly plays an important role, but it's the players that are going out there and winning. So Bill Belichick, certainly excellent coach, but when I listen to Bill Simmons talk through this rant on the Bill Belichick coverage, he's talking through this as if Bill Belichick and Tom Brady played really equal roles in the Patriots winning the championships that they did. Certainly, Bill Belichick was important, but I don't think this was ever the case. And this isn't looking back and stating that Bill Belichick wasn't as good. This is just stating that I don't think that players and coaches should be regarded as one-to-ones when it comes to winning. We know that coaches, if they're given a poor roster, they can only do so much with that roster. So that goes back to what I was saying about optimization. But I will say this in fairness to Bill, that his main point that Bill Belichick's legacy remains in place and it isn't changed by what's happening at North Carolina. I do agree with that. It's already done. It's done. So I don't think there's much dispute there. Maybe there is, but I wouldn't dispute that. Bill Belichick he's won 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots. He built them into a perennial contender. So I don't think anything is undone in terms of what he's accomplished with the Patriots. But then notice in that last part I played there, let's go ahead and play that clip one more time.
They needed each other. And to say one deserved more credit than the other is just typical sports media talk bullshit that we do.
So there, I think he's incorporating himself into the discussion, but Bill Simmons breaks down these details and talks about this. Other people are talking about it. He just doesn't like the fact that it's about Bill Belichick, who is his friend or is a friend of a friend, whatever the relationship is. He doesn't like it because it is Bill Belichick. And earlier on, I didn't play this clip, but earlier on, we heard him make note of the fact that Bill is in his mid 70s. He does this once again. So let's go ahead and fast forward to another clip.
Thought I didn't like the story. I didn't want to listen to it and read it because I just feel like the dude's in his mid 70s now. He's clearly past his prime. And sadly, sometimes this is how it ends for people in sports.
So I think there he's referring to Pablo Torre's reporting on Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson, and he could be talking about other coverage. But basically, here, Bill just doesn't like that Bill Belichick is receiving criticism. He uses the term piling on. And then he comes back to the fact that Bill is in his mid 70s and past his prime. And the problem with this is that Bill Belichick is still in the game. It's one thing to be in your mid 70s and be retired and be out of the public spotlight, but Bill accepted this head coaching job at the University of North Carolina. It's a Division One school. He's getting paid $10 million a year, I believe. And you also have him in the media. He's been in the mainstream media. He's inserting himself into the conversation. So you can't revert back to, well, now he's in his mid 70s, so he shouldn't be critiqued or he shouldn't be treated as if he was anyone else. I think the media is treating him with scrutiny, one, because you had Jordan Hudson initially, but then what makes matters worse and where they're really starting to use Bill's words, pile on, is because North Carolina is not winning or not playing well enough relative to where they should be.